By a popular demand, we're gonna run through all the tanks we have. There's been so many changes in each tank, so I'm gonna describe what's happening just quickly, but it's gonna take a while to do it all, so I don't know how long this video will turn out to be. Maybe half an hour, maybe even longer, I don't know, maybe less. But anyhow, we'll begin with our biggest tank, 25,000 gallons nominally. If it was filled to the top, it's filled to about 20,000 gallons. As some of you know who watch the channel, we keep taking out the smallest fish out of here because wells keeps growing, and our Pimelodidae are growing real fast, and also the beluga sturgeon do too. And some fish are, I mean, the whales has an enormous mouth, so he could eat almost any of this koi, or even the bigger mahseer he could try and eat, but he doesn't, thankfully. But for the sake of the arapaima, for the most part, we took out recently 5 of the smallest mahseer carp and 2 ultra catfish and our big-eye tarpon, Indo-Pacific or freshwater tarpon. So this tank is getting a little bit more bare. Less fish in it, for sure. A lot of people ask us, it's a frequently asked question, why don't we put paroon shark, catfish in here, red tails, I mean pretty much everybody from the jumbo 4,500 gallon. And the answer is, this is a rubber lined exhibit. It's a rubber liner glued to the acrylic window. There's a lot of creases. This is a free shaped, kind of half a dog bone shaped pond, or aquarium I should say. And there's a lot of creases in there, and I cannot put pacu in here or a giant gourami. They will chew up the liner. I cannot put spiny catfish in there. The probability is small, but it's not zero that they will puncture the liner with their sharp spines. Sometimes they freak out and they jump and they run into the walls, even in the hardwall tank. In a hardwall tank, it's inconsequential. In a rubber-lined exhibit, that could be a huge problem if they rip the liner or puncture it. I really don't want to repair it or patch it up. Alright, so I cannot put any spiny, toothy fish in here. So all the fish that are in there, they don't have sharp spines or big sharp teeth. I want to keep it that way for now. But I admit it'd be a dream come true if I could put paroon sharks in there, red tails, and you know, all the big guys would go in here, and I could free up the jumbo 4,500 gallon. But then the pacu, I cannot put pacu here for sure. Even if I do the catfish and take the chance, I will not take a chance on pacu. I know they will chew it up, and there will be a million holes in the rubber liner, in the creases. Okay? So that's out of the question, and that's why this pond is stuck. Exhibit stuck the way it is. Mostly different carp species. Even the beluga sturgeon have somewhat sharp scutes, and that worries me a little. And then the silurids, like the Wells catfish and the lily-eye micropogon helicopter catfish, they don't have sharp spines, neither do clownfish nor the arapaima. The giraffe catfish from Africa, they have somewhat sharp spines, but they're mostly strong. They're not very sharp at the tip. And they're covered with flesh, so only when they're broken they present a danger. On their tips of their spines are covered with thick flesh, so they're not sharp and cannot easily puncture a liner. Hasn't happened yet in many years. Alright, so that's our biggest tank for now. That's the way it is. Just quarantine in the hospital. I'm still having problems with I can't cure the Jack Dempseys. They eat very well. They're very lively. See how they're reacting to me, wanting to be fed. but this fungus on them, I kill it off and it comes back all the time. So I think fungus is not the primary cause, some kind of bacterial infection deadens the skin or something, and then the dead skin is getting eaten by the fungus. This is saprolegnia, I'm pretty sure, the beneficial benign fungus normally that's present in any ecosystem, in any water. Koi, goldfish, they're just too small, nowhere to put them for now, so they're languishing in this tank. Tilapia and Mayan cichlid from our lake, the ones that we freeze sometimes, and I mean not sometimes, but we'll raise them and freeze them and feed them to our fish, but we cannot make enough, so we also buy bait fish, saltwater frozen bait fish. So these are the 300s, quarantine and hospital. The 1800 gallon, as you know, have been going through a lot of changes. Right now it's packed to the gills with fish, still manageable. It was featured in our last video, so I don't know what else to say about it in addition to yesterday's. There's a bunch of, there's a menagerie of very different fish in there. Mike and Amanda's deformed tiger shovelnose. They're Oscars. These are the two Messier that went in there from 25,000, Puditora and Udri. There they are, showing themselves off. Mike's pike cichlid. The little dovii female is doing okay over there in the back. The arowana are growing. Soon we're gonna have to move them to the 4500. Largemouth bass are doing well too, as greedy as ever. Dora, the Dorado catfish, okay. Bala shark is growing its fins back. Barramundi are growing. Pampala barb is not growing, it's stuck at this size. The oral barbels are growing slowly. Tinfoil is growing a little. Nile perch growing. Sun catfish almost not growing at all. Bunch of irwini, soldier catfish, granulated catfish, Chinese whales by the back wall. You'll probably barely be able to make them out. It's growing. You see that little pipe I left in there? This is to stress everybody else, so it takes their mind off of hunting the new guys. Our biggest freshwater tarpon, and the two vulture catfish that are recuperating in this tank from their injuries they received in the 4500. So I usually take it out for the day and then just put it in for the night, the pipe. So they don't get used to it during the day. When it stresses everybody just slightly to take their mind off of preying on anybody, but being apprehensive and thinking what's happening. Volta giraffe catfish kind of straightened out a little. It was crescent when we took it out of 25,000, so doing a little better. Alright, this tank has taken in the less aggressive 4500 gallon, has seen a lot of additions. The two red tail catfish, our tiger shovelnose went in there at some point, the three new Messier. Who else? The two Bassa, the black ear shark catfish in the corner circling over there with a black spot by the gill. Bigger bat is still the boss of the top and mid-water. Piraiba stopped growing a long time ago, or slowed down so much it's unnoticeable. They don't break about 3 feet, it seems. So I have my doubts. This is a really Piraiba, maybe a different species, but it's not Cavapretum. All right. Yeah, the new arowana from Mike and Amanda's doing okay over there, keeping to the back. Viktor is still ruling the top. Next to the, it submits to bigger bed, of course. Bigger bed is number 1. Viktor is probably number 2. Alright. The Cuban gars are growing slowly, but they are steady. Tropical gars stopped growing a long time ago, it seems. So did the Florida gar. About 2.5 feet they are. They're all about 2.5 feet right now. Alright, jumbo 4,500 gallon. No changes pretty much here. Everybody's an old resident in here. The 2 paroons, our biggest irwini, which we could put in the 25,000 gallon because they have no spines. The helicopter. Indian shovelnose, Sexy, the Distichotus sexfasciatum, Lucy, the Distichotus lysoso, the pacu, hybrids, red tails, and Jowl, the boss of this tank. No changes here. Alright, let's see here. The golden dorado, 11 of them, doing okay. Sometimes they bicker around with each other. I see that, like this piece of tail missing on that one. On the bottom, just tiny piece. There are some disagreements here. I see that sometimes, but all in all, it's not too bad. Our smaller Asian red tail, it used to be bigger, it used to be alpha, but it stopped eating for several winter months. I don't know why. The smaller placo, the bigger placo. That's the Asian red tail that used to be smaller and submissive, but now it's, by weight, it's probably 2 times bigger than the other one. It never stopped eating. Eats real well. Sharky, the black shark. What is new here? Just a bunch of parrot, cichlids, Sabrina's 5 females, 18 and 11-year-olds, and then Mike and Amanda's much younger parrots. The young phoenix barbs, 5 of them. This tank, by the way, we call the silver dollar tank because silver dollars live here. Things can change, but they always stay here. The Detnoid, the smaller one that I took out of the 1800 gallon. That's that probably. The Raphael catfish somewhere there. We'll never find him. The 5 tigrinus or tig catfish now live in this tank. For some reason, that's unpredictable. I set this up for them. They never go in between the rocks like said in the other tank. Each had their own parking space between the the landscaping blocks, concrete blocks. Now they don't go in between. I put them in this tank and everything changes. This guy prefers to hang on the driftwood all the time. This guy prefers to sit behind the driftwood. This one is in the cave. This one goes in and out of the cave. And the other one always sits behind those rocks, behind the blocks next to the back glass. Okay, the spotted shovelnose coruscans growing real well. Clown knife also growing real well. The 5 peacock bass, 3 brocapondo and 2 kilberry growing well except for this one. And the 3 youngest arowana are also growing well. Okay, what else do we have here? The 2 planiceps, they have slowed down eating a lot, but at least they take their pieces of fish. The smaller one kind of missed a couple of days. I was really worried. As I reported, we lost this twice before to an unknown bacterial infection that affected their brain. Last time was about 5 years ago, so this is a 3rd try. So far they've been okay, I would say. They started out real strong, slowed down, but still doing well. But we're not out of the woods at all yet. The two Murray cods doing well. Little slower growth on them. Probably a few inches in half a year. The 5 supposedly Brazil Piraiba. We'll see whether they are really Brazil or Peru sooner or later. I'll be very sorry if they turn out to be Peru. And the 5 Temensis peacock bass are in here, growing also very well as they should. They're voracious eaters. The jerk tank or timeout, Terroristka, the Midas female. Everything is pretty much the same here. Probably a couple of new Eupterus catfish, the featherfin synodontis. We have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. Well, one of them is a hybrid. And they Asian upside down. And also 2 blue Mbuna cichlids, blue peacocks from Malawi. Yes, and the tilapia, of course. Okay, so that's the timeout tank. Triple G, the Gulperes, female gulper. As you can see, I did not combine them. I don't think I would. I just asked this question in a weak hope that somebody kept them together, eels and the gulper, could tell me what would happen. The eels are doing okay. They're trying to leave by swimming into the output pipe sometimes. Makes scary noise and splatters the water all over the place. High-fin Chinese loach is behind. Louis the lungfish. Everything's fine here. All 5 eels are accounted for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clown loaches, the Vieja hybrids, green terrors, synspilums, 5 dovii, 5 ambis are still here. We adopted out all of our black ghost knife. We had 4 of them. Our newly found peer and hopefully a friend adopted them. Tom Holt from Apopka. This is the pike cichlid that came from Mike. If you can tell me what this species is, I'd appreciate it. Everybody's so jumpy. And this thing, this Vieja cichlids, they have always been jumpy. The hybrids. They spook and run away and scare everybody else while at it. There's a pike again. You can tell me what this is, I'd appreciate it. I mean, what species of pike it is. What should I expect? Alright. The marbled lungfish went in here. Just a bunch of different cichlids in here. The Owaro turned out to be pretty aggressive cichlids. And they have a hard mouth and they use it to harass other fish. They really don't like one of the blue acaras, the one that has only one eye. For some reason they bite him often. I don't know why. The Oaros do. Mike's silver dollars went in here. We still have 2 electric blue Carpintis cichlids. Red shoulder severum. Now we have 2 angels, 1 long fin, 1 normal fin. Kalu, the Oscar from Sean. Mike's silver dollar is here. Jardini, of course, is in here too. Being shy. She doesn't like anything unusual happening outside of her tank. Yeah, that's the one-eyed acara, blue acara that the oaros keep bothering. Those bites on the top and on the other side where there's no eye. They keep biting it. I don't know why. Pictus catfish, Dalhousie, biker, Senegal bicher, and then the two young Senegalese from Mike. Wild rescue hoplo, ornate pims, lima catfish. There's our adult Senegalese rescue from about 10 years ago. That's the roster of this tank. There's a fire eel inside that dragon, but he will never come out to show himself, not at least in the daylight. Alright, peacock bass. Now have giant Siamese carp for tank mates. Giant Siamese carp, I don't know if you can tell, but they're getting much fuller in the body, much healthier looking. They're eating a lot, really a lot. I was really underfeeding them all these years. They're 8 years old and not even 2 foot yet. Well, they should be, at this age, probably 3 or 4 feet. 100 to 200 pounds. If I kept them the way my colleague Dennis keeps them in Cambodia. He keeps giant Siamese carp and giant Mekong catfish. Alright, and the little guys, we had few losses here and there. Haven't lost any yields, but we lost one tarpon out of the blue. Like this sickly one I thought we were going to lose, the thin one. And this one is the much thicker one. And the one they lost was like that, like thicker. So you never know why this thin one remains and the other one just was eating one day just fine, and then the next day I found him dead. The new flagtails are doing okay. Bala sharks, everything here is more or less is fine. Once in a while we may lose a fish here. In several months it happens. And the last ones are the 3 white sturgeon from California. I'm still slowly raising their temperature. Right now they're at about 74. It has been a warm months here, warm winter. So they haven't really, the temperature keeps getting away from me. These guys just keep circling. They grew well. Probably added several inches since arriving here. Some of you remember I almost lost them, almost killed them all. It's a miracle that they survived my initial treatment. I give him cut pieces of mullet and pellets once a day. And this is a small, 180 gallon tub. It's getting pretty tight for them. I need to be able to acclimate them to the about 80 low 80s, 82 Fahrenheit, and then put them in a fan-chilled tank. We cool some of our tanks by blowing fans on the water. That allows us to knock off about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so that completes our tour. I think I told you about everybody more or less quickly. We'll continue focusing our videos on particular fish and their issues and whatnot.